Hey, listen up, little ones. I got something to tell you. I got big feet, I got real big feet, but I can shake it up. Boom, boom, boom. I'm gonna stick my big face in your room and wake you up, kid. I'm a big deal, I'm a really big deal. I'm bigger than a Cadillac. We're gonna give your mama a heart attack when you jump on my back. I can hear you say, hey mama, look at me, I'm driving a dinosaur. Hey mama, hey, and we're going downtown.
Why'd you have to hit it so hard? Sometimes I don't know my own strength. Come on, you guys, we've got to pay for this window. And besides, this is gonna be fun. You'll see.
Oh yeah, fun. It's always fun cleaning house for a local witch, Eugene.
Witch? I'm not going in there. No way. Mrs. Eichelberger is not a witch.
Is too.
Is not.
Is too.
Sometimes you guys are such dweebs. It's bad enough we have to clean this lady's house, so we have to argue about it.
You're the one who got us into it.
Did not. Did too. Did not.
I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna go in any witch's house.
Emmanuel, it's just a weird old house with a lot of neat stuff in it. It's really cool.
Can't believe you talked me into this.
I don't know about this. Quit your beefing, you guys. Would you guys rather pay for it out of your allowance?
No way.
We're here, Mrs. Eichelberger.
You can go around to the lab, Eugene. You know where it is.
Okay.
I'm out of here. Later, guys.
I'm in the middle of an experiment right now, Eugene, but you go ahead and get started. You know what to do.
Okay.
Wow, look at this place. It's so neat.
Eugene!
What?
This place is a mess. We'll never get it done.
What are we supposed to do with all this junk anyway?
File it.
What?
You see those file drawers over there? All we have to do is put each animal in the right drawer.
Like you said, loads of fun.
This is gonna take us forever.
No, it won't. We learned all about this in science class, so we just file each animal by their species and genus.
Oh, sure, piece of cake.
Let's get started, or we'll never get done.
What was that?
You forgot the Olivia.
A kitty cat.
Put it in the feline drawer.
Okay.
Cool.
Very cool.
I've got a lobster. Crustacea.
A monkey.
A simian.
But it's playing the cymbals.
It doesn't matter, it's still a simian. Here's a fly. Insects.
Fish.
Pisces. Aves.
Phew. I told you it wouldn't take us any time at all.
Let's go play some ball.
Hold on a second. What are we supposed to do with this?
Put them in the extinct drawer.
In the extinct drawer.
Is there an echo in here? I said put in the extinct drawer. There aren't any more dinosaurs left, right?
Right. Right.
I don't want to put him in there. He's the oldest creature on Earth.
Did you hear what that numbskull said?
I told you these humans were stupid.
Don't you know anything? We're the oldest creatures on Earth.
Who said that?
Hey, come on, that was breakfast. I left that over there.
Last time I moved that fast, they turned on the light.
Let's follow these llamas.
Just try it.
Hey, we're in the middle of a card game here.
But we're willing to help you if you keep a civil tongue in your head.
Oh yeah? If you're so smart, tell me where it goes.
Put it in the Boyd drawer.
Hey, don't listen to that dope. It's a reptile like a dragon or something. No, it's a dragon.
No. Hey, don't let these mooks yank you around. It's like the kids said. It goes in the extinct drawer along with the dodo and the saber-toothed tiger.
I know. The cavemen killed them all.
Yeah, with like big clubs and stuff and shooters.
You two is hopeless. The dinosaur died out millions of years before peoples was monkeys.
People was monkeys?
Why should we listen to you? You're just a
What?
bunch of household vermin.
What'd she say?
Let
What
me
did
out
she
of
say?
you. These is fighting words, bump brain.
Chill, Rocky. You.
Humans?
Excuse the expression. You have an overinflated opinion of your own importance.
I will have you know that we roaches
A majestic and noble species.
Well said.
Have been around since before the dinosaurs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even you can't agree on where or what happened to the dinosaurs. So you're not much help.
You could look it up.
What? You mean like in a book?
Though, in a liver waste sandwich.
Hey, that sounds pretty good.
Of course in a book. What do you think they're for?
Well, I like to eat them myself. They're really tasty with a little bit of ketchup and mustard and mayo.
Coke in
and
a
a little
Dumbo.
yeah, right.
I guess it couldn't hurt.
Yeah.
Yes, true.
Oh, yeah, well, thank you.
Okay, that's
Big
amazing.
Bob, thank you.
Okay, here's your 2 cards. All right. Hey,
Wow.
what? Give me the
Look at him go.
Gee, Anika, that didn't take long.
What?
I'm Jim Garvin from NASA. Did you have any trouble finding this place?
Huh?
Anyway, you wanted to know what happened to the dinosaurs.
How'd you know that?
Well, books are amazing things, aren't they, Anika?
Yeah.
Well, this is NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center, and that's where I work, and I'm a scientist here, and I wanted to show you something today that we think is really interesting. We've been looking at these holes in the ground. We find them all over the Earth, made from rocks from space, which we call meteorites. In fact, here's one. It's a solid piece of metal. Feel how heavy that is. But this hole in this picture is only about a mile across. Now imagine a rock from space, not a few inches like this, but the size of the city of Washington, D.C. That's a big place. Well, imagine one of those hitting the Earth faster than a speeding bullet. Imagine how big a hole that might have made.
What's that have to do with dinosaurs?
Well, that's a good question. We've been wondering about that. In fact, mysteriously, something like 66 million years ago, that's a long time for us people. That's millions of generations, longer than you and I are going to live. All the dinosaurs vanished. They disappeared from the Earth. We don't know where they went. And, well, we think that some of these giant explosions might have taken place at the same time. You know, maybe there was a series of rocks from space that hit the Earth right about the time those dinosaurs disappeared.
Did everything get blown up?
Well, not exactly, Anika. We think that maybe the meteorite might have broken up right before it hit the Earth and produced several big explosions. And that would have sent lots of dust and dirt way up high in the atmosphere. And it was circulated all the way around the Earth, blocking out sunlight. And that would have killed all the tropical plants. A lot of the dinosaurs probably ate those tropical plants, and probably would have killed a lot of the little critters living in the ocean too, because it got colder. In fact, it might have triggered an ice age. Another thing it could have done would have been to generate large-scale forest fires. They would have raged over entire continents, you know, whole states, these forest fires, just from that big explosion.
Did everything die?
Well, we don't think so. In fact, maybe the reason that people like us are here today is because some of the smaller creatures, the small mammals, like little rodents, and some of the insects that we know and maybe know too well, like cockroaches, they survived. And we have them now today.
How come everything didn't die?
Well, Anika, some of those smaller mammals, like the little rodents, they may have been able to burrow into little holes and live out the great dust storms and the ice ages, and other of the creatures laid eggs that survived. So there are ways these creatures could have survived the tremendous explosion.
How do you know all this stuff?
Well, Anika, ever since I was someone just about your age, I've been collecting fossils and thinking about this kind of thing, what happened to the dinosaurs and why we don't have any today. And at the same time, there's new scientific procedures that have been developed just in the last few years that have told us all about the materials that might have been left behind from a giant meteorite explosion. We learned that there are special ingredients in nature, we call them elements, which they're very, very abundant in meteorites, but they're very rare on the Earth. And there's a layer of dirt in the record of the rocks of the Earth that occurred 66 million years ago, right when the dinosaurs all disappeared. And that layer contains a lot more of these rare elements, like iridium and platinum and osmium. Okay, they're rare metals, than 30 or 40 times more than you normally find on the Earth. So we think maybe that's the leftover stuff from the meteorite that made these great craters. In fact, what we've been able to do is to figure out exactly when a giant collision occurred on the Earth, where we can figure out how old rocks are, including special rocks which were vaporized into steam by these tremendous explosions. Okay, you can feel that. That's what happens when a rock is vaporized into steam and turns into glass. And we can figure out how old those rocks are, okay, and we can link them to the time when the dinosaurs all vanished. We think that this gives us a clue that maybe the big collision of the meteor was the effect that caused the disappearance of the dinosaurs.
But the meteorite in the picture left a hole, but the one you're talking about is a whole lot bigger. So where's the crater?
And right now, all we have is a few candidates, some ideas. One is a big hole we think is buried under tons of sediment, tons of dirt in the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico. And there's another place up in Iowa, in the state of Iowa, where we think there's a big hole buried under all this dirt. And finally, we've just got some idea that there's a tremendous hole up in northern Siberia, up in the tundra. So we have some possibilities, but there's still a lot more work we have to do.
If you know all this stuff, how come nobody seems to agree about what happened to the dinosaurs?
Before this new theory, this asteroid collision theory as to the disappearance of the dinosaurs, scientists had felt that the dinosaurs slowly evolved and then they were around for 100 million years. I mean, that's hundreds of times longer than people so far. And then they might have slowly died out. And that's the kind of thing people believed for, I don't know, up until just 10 years ago. And then all of a sudden some of us come along and say, hold it. There were these giant meteorites and they crashed into the Earth and they changed the climate and that killed off the dinosaurs. It's a radical kind of thing. And so people find it hard to believe without lots of good evidence.
So, did all the dinosaurs disappear?
Well, Anika, I'm not specifically a dinosaur expert. But here's one way you can find out.
Come on, Bob, what is all this fuss about dinosaurs? For 100 million years of geological time, you call it the age of dinosaurs, yet these things weren't all that common, were they?
Okay, I admit you're right. Dinosaurs were the minority. Maybe one animal out of 100 on land was a dinosaur, but this is a spectacular 1%. You gotta admit that. Hey, you're here.
Where's here?
Well, Eugene, you're at the University of Colorado Museum in Boulder.
That's a big dinosaur.
Neat, huh? Now, I heard you want to know why the dinosaurs went extinct.
Sure.
Okay, now there were a lot of animals alive back then, but if you're just interested in why the dinosaurs died out, I'll tell you. My theory is they were moving from one continent to another and they got foreign diseases.
Oh. Bob, I can't accept that theory. Eugene, when Bob gets through telling you about his theory, I'll tell you about mine, okay?
Okay.
Fine.
All right, Eugene, there's one thing we got to get straight. Dinosaurs weren't big lizards. They were big birds. They really were.
Really?
Yeah, you take a chicken apart and compare the bones to a Tyrannosaurus rex. Hey, the bird is just a miniature dinosaur. You'd buy that.
Well, I guess I can buy that part of it.
Okay, so dinosaurs were big, active, warm-blooded animals. Now, how are you going to kill them off?
Beats me. That's why I came to you guys.
Okay, let's set the stage. Let's talk about who goes extinct and who doesn't. There are lots of times in the history of life when things die out, but they're always big things, like woolly mammoths died out not so long ago in the Ice Age, and so did the big saber-toothed cats. They were running around here. But I'll tell you, if you were a turtle in a pond in the Ice Age, you're still with us. Turtles don't suffer mass die-offs. If you were a turtle in the age of dinosaurs, you would survive, or a salamander, or a frog, or a giant toad. You see, most animals on land don't suffer mass die-offs. It's just the big ones, the big active ones.
Gee, I never heard that before.
Yeah, and these are the key clues. What's going to kill off these big, active critters and leave the toads and the frogs and the salamanders and the turtles alone? Well, I'll tell you, one thing big animals will do. If you build a land bridge from one continent to another, the big animals will travel very quickly, and travel's dangerous. Have you ever been out of the country?
I was in Mexico once.
Did you get sick?
No, but my dad did.
Okay. He got some foreign bug, some gut parasite. The worst, the most dangerous diseases are foreign diseases because your body doesn't have any defense. And when big animals move, they're carrying their own diseases and mixing them to other countries. And they get the diseases of the countries they invade. So you're talking about dozens and dozens and dozens of new diseases everywhere.
Well, that's all well and good, Bob, but what you're forgetting is it's not just the dinosaurs that became extinct, but thousands of other species of animals and plants that lived in the sea became extinct at about the same time. And we have good evidence that there was one or more giant meteorite impacts on Earth at that time, and in addition, the environment and the climate were very disturbed because of that. And any extinction theory worth its salt has to take that into account.
Okay, he's right. There probably was some sort of meteorite hitting the Earth. But the question is, did it hit the Earth so hard it could kill things on land? I don't think so. Imagine this. You smack the Earth with a huge meteorite. You send up a big dust cloud. Well, that's going to chill the Earth. And the dust is going to rain down and produce acid rain in ponds. So you chill the ponds and you put acid in the ponds. That should kill the frogs. But the frogs didn't go extinct, and the salamanders too, and the turtles in the ponds. No extinction there at all.
So why didn't the frogs get sick from the diseases and die?
That's a very good question. You see, frogs don't travel very well. Frogs don't like to travel from one pond to another. So even if you have a new disease, it won't spread quickly.
Well, Eugene, the reason that I think that Bob's theory of disease killing off the dinosaurs is wrong is because in the origins of the dinosaur and all during the times they were migrating around the world to different continents, there were lots of land bridges, even more than when they became extinct. And so during that time, they were mixing from one continent to another over 100 million years, and there's no evidence of any extinction associated with disease during that time. And finally, during the time that the dinosaurs were becoming extinct, so were thousands of species in the ocean, where there was no evidence at all that disease was spreading around. Instead, what we see is over 2 or 3 million years of time that many thousands of species die off in waves, one after another, different kinds of things each time, and none of them seemingly related to disease at all.
So if you don't believe Mr. Bakker's theory, then what do you believe? Maybe a meteorite hit Earth?
Well, we know there's good evidence that there was a big meteorite, maybe 5 miles across, that hit the Earth at the end of the age of the dinosaurs. But as we study the fossils, we learn that the dinosaurs were extinct at that time. They were all gone. So that wasn't the cause. But nevertheless, we know that there may have been many meteorites hitting the Earth over a period of 5 or 6 million years. Most of these would have hit in the ocean. And when they hit in the ocean, they would have caused a tremendous amount of change in climate and in temperature and in the chemistry of the ocean. And these rapid changes in temperature and chemistry would have been too much for the animals and plants of the earth to withstand. And so they would have become extinct in a series of waves, one after another, what we call stepwise extinction. And I think that's probably the answer.
That's really neat, Eugene, because the dinosaurs showed the same thing. They didn't all die off at once. You can see the different types of species going extinct one after the other, and finally, all you have left are little dinosaurs.
So what happened? Didn't all the dinosaurs die out?
You see, a very small dinosaur, a close cousin of T-Rex, was the direct ancestor of all modern birds, from a hummingbird to an ostrich. You can think of Tyrannosaurus rex as the 10,000-pound roadrunner from hell. Actually, if you were alive in the age of dinosaurs, you wouldn't see big, slow, clumsy, lizard-like animals. You'd see active animals like giant birds. Dinosaurs had eyes like birds. They saw in color. They must have used bright colors to try to attract mates during the mating season, the way birds do. And some dinosaurs had brains which were very large. They were the smartest animals alive at the time.
So, were there any people back then?
Well, cartoons show cavemen with dinosaurs, right? That's wrong. There were no people when Triceratops was alive. But our ancestors existed back then. And this may surprise you. This is what we looked like. All of the ancestors of humans were tiny little furry critters halfway between a pig and a chipmunk, sort of a pig monk. And as long as there were big dinosaurs chasing us, trying to eat us, we had to stay small. But when the big dinosaurs went extinct, then these little furry animals could get bigger and bigger, evolve into cats and dogs and deer and monkeys and apes and us. So you see, if the dinosaurs hadn't gone extinct, why, we'd still be hairballs.
I don't get something.
What?
You guys, you scientists are all real smart and adults and all, right?
Well, that's a viable hypothesis.
Some of us more than others.
So how come you don't agree on anything?
Well, we agree on a lot of things. We agree on the facts, I think.
Yeah, we just interpret the facts differently, and then we argue between each other, and then we come up with a solution that's acceptable to both of us. That's the way science is done.
So how do me and my friends learn more about dinosaurs for ourselves?
Well, one of the things you can do is go in the field and look at the rocks and look for fossils, and maybe you'll discover some new things that help us to understand extinction better.
And you can read about theories and arguments and facts in books.
Hey, where'd they go? I bet she's exterminating them. I gotta save them. Whoa, that was weird. Who are you?
I'm Mark Norell from the Natural History Museum, and this is my place. You're Olivia, right?
How'd you know my name?
I've been expecting you since you opened that book. I was worried you wouldn't get here before I left.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Outer Mongolia to discover more things about dinosaurs, just like yourself.
Outer Mongolia?
Well, going traveling is one of the reasons that I became a paleontologist. But I don't have much time, and you wanted to ask me some questions.
Me and my friends have to know what happened to the dinosaurs.
Join the club. A lot of us would like to know what happened to the dinosaurs.
So there's no way to know anything?
No, we know quite a bit about dinosaurs. For instance, we know how dinosaurs and birds are related, and we know that dinosaurs are related to birds because they share common characteristics.
Character what?
Similar traits, features. It's just like mammals. There's lots of different kinds of mammals in the world. There's dogs, there's whales, there's monkeys, but they're all closely related, and they all shared a common ancestor in the distant past. The characteristics of dinosaurs and birds tell us that they shared a common ancestor in the past too, so they can still be really different but be the same.
Why did some die and some live?
Now you're thinking, if a theory is going to explain anything at all, it has to explain that. The thing is, we just don't know. Today, birds are some of the most sensitive indicators of climatic change that we have, but the birds didn't become extinct and we don't know why.
You don't know?
No. Does that surprise you?
I thought scientists are supposed to know everything.
Well, lots of scientists will say that they've got all the answers, I'd love to know everything about what happened to the dinosaurs, but the fact is, we have to be smart enough just to say that we don't know.
But you know what caused it, right? I mean, when they all died out.
Well, nobody knows. Some scientists say that it got too warm, others that it got too cold. Some say that some new illness appeared. Some even say that there's a change in plants that the dinosaurs couldn't eat anymore. The thing is, it's very complex. It's very hard today even to find out why certain animals are becoming extinct. If you're trying to find out what happened 65 million years ago, it's nearly impossible.
If two things happen at the same time, doesn't that mean that one caused the other?
They could be related, but we don't know if they happened at the same time or thousands of years apart. Our dating methods aren't precise enough to be able to determine if it took 1 year, 10 years, 100 years, or thousands of years for the dinosaurs to go extinct. In the fossil record, the smallest units that we can talk about are about 100,000 years. So what we can say is that the dinosaurs' extinction occurred within 100,000 years, but whether it occurred gradually or suddenly within that 100,000 years, we just don't know.
It's not much fun having to say you don't know all the time.
Would you want me to make up a story and tell you it's true?
What's wrong with making up stories if they're based on the facts?
Stories are great, but they're not science. If you're a scientist, you come up with theories and test them, and then give them to other people to test to see if they come up with the same result. If you're a scientist, you have to play by the rules. If you change the rules, you're not a scientist, you're a storyteller.
Why should I believe you? There's lots of smart people who don't agree with you, right?
Right, but that's what makes studying dinosaurs so great. You don't have to believe what anybody says. And you could be the one to come up with the crucial evidence to tell us what killed the dinosaurs. But remember to do it like a scientist, not a storyteller.
How am I ever going to explain all this to my friends?
Here's the best place I know to start.
Oh my gosh! The witch toasted them! Holy moly, guys! Hey guys, let me out of here! Where you been? I thought the witch got you.
Well, I was at the space center.
There are these two guys that said,
I met this really cool scientist that said,
Hold on a second, you guys didn't go anywhere. I was watching the door the whole time.
But we did!
Yeah, how?
see, I opened up this book and we were sucked in.
A book? Oh, yeah.
No, really. I met a scientist who said that a meteorite killed the dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs? Who cares about them? They're all dead.
No, they're not.
See, some of the dinosaurs were able to evolve into birds. A meteorite might not have killed them. It may have been diseases.
You guys are such suckers. There's lots of theories, but there's no way to really know for sure.
Sure there is.
Just look at the evidence. Those are stories, not necessarily science.
But that's how theories are made.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. How'd you guys find all this out?
In a book.
You're kidding. You think maybe I can learn some of this stuff?
I don't know, you might be too little.
I am not. I'm going to the library right now to learn more about it than the three of you put together.
I'll come with you. I have to prove to these two that if two things happen at the same time, doesn't mean that one caused the other.
Let's all go.
Hold on a second. What are we supposed to do with him? Beats me. Nobody seems to have the answer.
Maybe we should just stick it up on the bookshelf until we know more.
We don't want that thing up here.
Oh, he's kind of nasty looking.
Hey, he's not gonna stay up here forever. Is he?
No way.
Yes, you.
I'm going to be the one to find out what happened to the dinosaurs. Not if I get there first.
Let's go. We're leaving now, Mrs. Eichelberger.
Thank you, Eugene.
I'll see you later.
Good
Don't let the
riddance,
screen door hit you on the way out.
All right. The game is three-card draw, Jack's wild.
I'll take 4.
Oh, God.
You can't take.
Mrs. Eichelberger,
Yes,
can we come back again sometime?
anytime you want.
You see, it just makes sense that a big meteorite hit in the dinosaurs.
Look at the evidence.
But there isn't any real evidence, don't you see?
Somebody said it was a meteorite came crashing down on a Saturday night. A friend of a friend said the sky went black, there was ice and fire, and now you're never coming back. But I don't care what they say, I'm never ever gonna let you really get away. You are the big just history. I'm gonna keep on checking every move you make, from the ocean floor to the earth you quake.